Recently, South Africa's foreign minister made an exciting revelation. The BRICS bloc, which consists of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is working on creating a fairer system of monetary exchange. The goal is to challenge the dollar's position as the world's leading currency. Hello, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we will talk about a topic that's been making headlines lately: the potential demise of the US dollar as the world's leading currency for oil trades. That's right, Russia, China, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, and other states that make up the BRICS coalition are considering ditching the dollar, and it's causing quite a stir in the world of international finance. The US dollar has been the dominant currency for oil trades since the 1970s. Its role as the world's reserve currency has helped make the US an economic superpower around the world. But with the rise of the BRICS coalition, some experts believe that we're witnessing a major shift in the global financial landscape. So what does all of this mean for the dollar and the US economy as a whole? In this video, we'll take a closer look at the potential implications of this seismic shift in global finance and explore what it could mean for the future of the dollar and the world at large. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet. It's fascinating to see how the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have been growing closer over time. They share the common goal of reshaping the financial landscape, which has long been dominated by the US dollar. These countries want to protect their own interests, especially in the face of tensions in geopolitics and the threat of US sanctions. As they forge ahead, Russia and China are at the forefront of the group's efforts to reduce their reliance on the US dollar. India, Brazil, and South Africa all support the call for a modified global monetary system, joining them. It's quite inspiring to see these countries come together, encouraging the use of their own national currencies in international trade. The BRICS countries are challenging the US dollar's dominance by working toward a common currency and monetary unit within their sphere of influence. They're exploring a concept similar to the special drawing rights, SDR, called a basket currency. However, it's worth noting that the extent of commitment from each nation in terms of their foreign exchange reserves remains a bit uncertain. One of their primary motivations is to diversify their economies, making them less vulnerable to outside shocks and currency fluctuations caused by the US dollar. But, as you mentioned, the challenges that come with their heavy reliance on the dollar could make the dream of a reserve currency somewhat elusive. Nevertheless, the BRICS nations are not deterred. They're determined to secure their global financial interests by continuing to develop this alternative currency. It's exciting to see these countries collaborate on such an ambitious project, and I'm eager to observe how it unfolds in the coming years. Even though the BRICS countries still have a long way to go, they have shown that they are united and determined in their search for an alternative reserve currency. Their collaboration sends a powerful message to the rest of the world about the importance of diversifying the global financial system. The creation of a new currency or monetary unit could have big effects on trade and finance around the world. It could make the currency market more competitive, leading to new ideas and making other countries think twice about how much they rely on the US dollar. As the BRICS nations continue to grow their economies and increase their influence on the global stage, it will be fascinating to see how the world responds to their efforts. The creation of a new currency could change the way international trade and finance work, creating new opportunities and ways for countries to work together. In a recent interview with Russia's state media outlet Sputnik, South Africa's foreign minister, Naledi Pandor, talked about how the BRICS countries are trying to make a fairer way to exchange money. This is an interesting topic to learn about. Though this news didn't get much attention in the Western media, it was widely covered in the Indian press. Pandor was worried about how much the US dollar was used in world finance, and he said it was important to look into other options. She pointed out that the current monetary structures tend to favor wealthy countries, making it more challenging for nations like South Africa that have to make payments in dollars. This results in higher costs due to currency conversions. In her conversation, Pandor talked about how important it was to create a more fair system and said that the BRICS ministers had talked about this. She highlighted the new development bank, NDB, established by the BRICS nations in 2014, as a key player in this endeavor. The NDB was created as an alternative to the US-led World Bank and could potentially help pave the way for a fairer system of monetary exchange. Parndo also addressed the issue of unilateral sanctions imposed by the United States. She explained that South Africa has always had concerns about these sanctions and their impact on countries not directly involved in a particular conflict. She says she wanted the U.S. to change its way of doing things because unilateral sanctions don't usually help solve problems. Even Saudi Arabia, which has been one of Washington's closest allies for a long time, is thinking about following the BRICS nations' lead and moving away from the dollar. As the world's largest oil exporter, Saudi Arabia has recently acknowledged the possibility of selling its crude in currencies other than the US dollar. The Saudi Minister of Finance, Mohammed Al-Jadaan, mentioned in an interview on Bloomberg TV that they're open to discussing various options for settling trade arrangements, be it in US dollars, euros, or Saudi riyals. He emphasized that they're not ruling out any conversation aimed at enhancing global trade. It's worth remembering that back in 1974, Saudi Arabia struck a deal with the U.S. government to trade oil in dollars and invest its oil profits in U.S. Treasury securities in exchange for security. After President Richard Nixon stopped the dollar from being exchanged for gold in 1971, this petrodollar system helped keep the dollar as the world's reserve currency. But now the petrodollar seems to be facing some serious competition. There were reports last year from the Wall Street Journal that Saudi Arabia was considering pricing some of its oil sales to China in yuan. Although Riyadh didn't officially confirm this at the time, in December, Chinese President Xi Jinping visited Riyadh for a historic summit with the GCC and 21 Arab League member states. He said that they had talked about the possibility of using the renminbi to pay for energy from the Persian Gulf. According to comments reported by Reuters, President Xi said that China plans to keep buying a lot of crude oil from GCC countries, increase its imports of liquefied natural gas, and work together more on different parts of the oil and gas industry. He also mentioned utilizing the Shanghai Petroleum and Natural Gas Exchange as a platform for the yuan settlement of the oil and gas trade. Beijing, Riyadh, and the GCC countries have all said they want to increase their multilateral trade with China, which is already Saudi Arabia's biggest trading partner. This growing relationship shows a change in the world economy and can make it harder for the US dollar to be the most important currency in international trade. The world is moving towards a multipolar economic system, with the BRICS nations and Saudi Arabia leading the charge. In a recent op-ed in the Financial Times, Zoltan Pozsar, a well-known economist and global head of short-term interest rate strategy at the Swiss investment bank Credit Suisse, talked about this change. Pozsar explained that the unipolar era, where the U.S. was the undisputed hegemon after the First Cold War, is coming to an end. He used China's Belt and Road Initiative, the BRICS Plus group of emerging economies, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization as examples of the new type of globalization that is being actively shaped in today's multipolar world. Pozsar says that the ongoing fragmentation of international economic and political institutions could lead to one world, two systems, which is similar to the way China runs Hong Kong with one country, two systems. He said that the main problems with the current monetary order based on the dollar are the spread of de-dollarization and the creation of central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Pozsar observed that de-dollarization has been gaining momentum lately. He gave examples of how China and India have used yuan, rupees, and UAE dirhams to buy things from Russia. China has also told GCC countries to use the Shanghai Petroleum and Natural Gas Exchange to settle oil and gas trades in the renminbi. India, on the other hand, has set up a rupee settlement system for its international transactions. As the BRICS group expands, de-dollarization of trade movements could become increasingly prevalent. The Economist also said that China, Russia, and Saudi Arabia are building up large current account surpluses because they are exporting more. However, instead of investing in U.S. Treasury securities, their central banks are focusing on gold, commodities, and infrastructure projects like the Belt and Road Initiative. Pozsar came to the conclusion that the U.S. dollar's exorbitant privilege as the international reserve currency could be in danger if less trade is billed in dollars and less of the surplus dollars are put back into traditional reserve assets like Treasury bonds. What do you think? As the world moves toward a multipolar economic system and de-dollarization picks up speed, how will the United States change its economic and foreign policies to keep its global influence? What could the long-term effects be on the stability of the international financial system? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more interesting and informative videos.